Johnathan sat alone in his small apartment, surrounded by the eerie silence that had become his constant companion. He had always been a loner, ever since his childhood. Growing up in foster homes, he never had a stable family or a place to call home. The only connection he had to his past was a faded photograph of a woman and a child. They were his grandmother and his long-lost half-sibling, or so he believed. For years, Johnathan had searched relentlessly for his family. He scored old records, visited countless towns, and questioned anyone who might have known them. It was a desperate quest for belonging, for a sense of identity that had eluded him his entire life. And then, one day the breakthrough came. A phone call from an elderly woman claiming to be his grandmother. She had seen one of his flyers and recognized his face. Her voice trembled with excitement as she spoke of a child she had lost touch with years ago. A child who could be Johnathan's half-sibling. With a pounding heart and trembling hands, Johnathan agreed to meet his grandmother at a small cafe in a quaint town. As he entered the cafe, he scanned the room, searching for the face that would bring his past and present together. And there in the corner sat an old woman with kind eyes and a child by her side. Their eyes met, and Johnathan knew that he had found his family at last. The three of them spent hours talking, exchanging stories, and shedding tears of joy. It felt like a dream come true. For the first time in his life, Johnathan felt a connection, a bond that he had yearned for since he could remember. Days turned into weeks, and Johnathan became a regular fixture in his grandmother's life. He would visit her and his newfound sibling every weekend, bringing gifts and laughter into their modest home. He relished the feeling of finally belonging, of having a place where he was wanted and loved. But one fateful evening, as Johnathan made his way to his grandmother's house, he noticed something unusual. The streets were unusually quiet, and an eerie stillness hung in the air. As he approached the front door, he sensed that something was terribly wrong. With a trembling hand, he turned the doorknob and entered the house. The sight that greeted him would forever haunt his dreams. The living room was in disarray, furniture upturned, and shattered glass littered the floor. Panic gripped his heart as he called out for his grandmother and sibling, but there was no response. Fear propelled Johnathan through the house, searching every room, hoping against hope to find them safe. And then, he saw it, the open back door, leading out into the darkness of the night. Without hesitation, he followed the trail, his mind racing with 1,000 possibilities. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Outside, the moon cast an ethereal glow, illuminating the garden. Johnathan's heart pounded in his chest as he rounded the corner, his eyes scanning the scene before him. And there in the distance, he saw them. His grandmother stood at the edge of a cliff, her arms outstretched, her face serene. Beside her, the child stood, staring out into the abyss. Their figures were bathed in moonlight, creating an eerie tableau that froze Johnathan in his tracks. Before he could utter a word, his grandmother turned and looked at him, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and resolution. And then, with a leap that defied gravity, they both disappeared into the void. Johnathan stood there, rooted to the spot, his mind unable to comprehend the tragedy that had just unfolded before his eyes. The unexpected ending left Johnathan reeling, his mind swirling with questions and grief. He stumbled back, collapsing to his knees on the cold ground, unable to process the shocking turn of events. He felt a profound sense of loss and emptiness, as if the ground had been ripped from beneath him. Slowly, the reality sank in. His search for family and the connection he had finally found had ended in tragedy. The woman who had claimed to be his grandmother, the child who might have been his sibling, they were gone, lost forever. The weight of the world settled on Johnathan's shoulders, and a bitter taste of regret filled his mouth. In the days that followed, Johnathan sought solace in the memories he had created with his newfound family. He clung to the moments of laughter and love, treasuring them like fragile artifacts. But he couldn't shake off the guilt that gnawed at him. Could he have done something differently? Could he have prevented this heartbreaking outcome? Desperate for answers, Johnathan delved into his grandmother's past, unraveling the threads of her life in search of a clue. He discovered a hidden darkness, a history of pain and tragedy that had haunted her for years. It was a tale of loss, abandonment, and a longing for escape. As Johnathan pieced together the fragments of his grandmother's story, he began to understand the depths of her despair. She had carried burdens that weighed heavily on her soul, burdens she had hoped to release by taking that final leap into the unknown. And in her fragile state, she had taken the child with her, believing it was an act of mercy, sparing them both from a life of pain. In the midst of his grief and self-reflection, Johnathan realized that the unexpected ending was not solely about loss. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the interconnectedness of human experiences, and the importance of finding strength in the face of adversity. Through this tragedy, Johnathan discovered a newfound resilience, a determination to honor the memory of his grandmother and sibling by living a life filled with purpose and meaning. In the years that followed, Johnathan devoted himself to helping others who had experienced similar pain and hardship. He became an advocate for mental health, using his own journey as a testament to the power of resilience and the need for support. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. His story touched the lives of many, offering hope and solace to those who had once felt lost and alone. While the scars of his past remained, Johnathan found solace in the connections he forged with others. He built a chosen family, a network of friends and kindred spirits who stood by his side through thick and thin. And in their embrace, he found a sense of belonging that surpassed the bounds of blood ties. As the years went by, Johnathan carried the memories of his grandmother and sibling with him, cherishing the brief moments they had shared. Their story, though tragic, had become a catalyst for his own growth and resilience. In finding them, he had discovered a deeper understanding of himself and the capacity of the human spirit to endure and overcome. And so Johnathan embarked on a new chapter of his life, guided by the lessons he had learned and the love that had sustained him. He walked forward, carrying the weight of his past while embracing the possibilities of the future, knowing that in the tapestry of life, unexpected endings could become the seeds of remarkable new beginnings. In the wake of the tragedy, Johnathan made it his mission to ensure that his grandmother and sibling were not forgotten. He embarked on a journey to honor their memory, determined to give them the recognition they deserved. With the help of local authorities and support groups, he delved deeper into his grandmother's history, unearthing details that shed light on the struggles she had faced. Johnathan discovered that his grandmother had been a survivor of domestic abuse, enduring years of torment and suffering in silence. The weight of her past had shaped her in ways he couldn't fathom, and he realized that her final act was a desperate attempt to break free from the cycle of pain. He resolved to become an advocate for victims of abuse, striving to create awareness and support systems for those in need. Drawing upon his own experiences, Johnathan established a foundation in his grandmother's name, dedicated to empowering survivors and providing resources for healing. Through fundraisers, awareness campaigns, and partnerships with local organizations, he worked tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of those affected by domestic violence. As Johnathan's foundation gained recognition, he became a sought-after speaker, sharing his story of resilience and advocating for change. His voice resonated with audiences around the world, touching the hearts of countless individuals who found solace in his message. Johnathan realized that his unexpected ending had become the catalyst for a greater purpose, one that transcended his personal journey and impacted the lives of others. In the midst of his advocacy work, Johnathan received a letter, an anonymous correspondence that revealed a shocking truth. It detailed a connection between his grandmother's abuser and a powerful individual within the community. The revelation sent shockwaves through Johnathan's world, uncovering a web of corruption and complicity that extended far beyond his family's tragedy. With determination burning in his eyes, Johnathan embarked on a quest for justice. He dedicated himself to exposing the truth, unearthing evidence, and bringing those responsible to account. It was a dangerous path, fraught with risks and challenges, but he knew he had to fight for his grandmother's legacy, and for all the victims who had suffered in silence. As the investigation unfolded, Johnathan faced countless obstacles and threats, but he refused to be deterred. He rallied support from journalists, lawyers, and activists who shared his unwavering commitment to justice. Together, they brought the truth to light, shattering the facade of power and privilege that had shielded the abuser for far too long. The exposure of the abuser sparked a movement within the community, an outpouring of support for survivors and a demand for systemic change. Laws were reformed, support services were expanded, and conversations surrounding domestic violence reached new heights. Johnathan's relentless pursuit of justice had ignited a fire that could not be extinguished. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the end, the unexpected ending had transformed into a triumph, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of one person's unwavering determination. Johnathan's journey, rooted in the search for his family, had grown into a catalyst for change, leaving an indelible mark on the lives of survivors and the fight against domestic violence. Though his grandmother and sibling were no longer physically present, their legacy lived on through the lives that were touched by their story. Johnathan knew that their spirits would forever guide him, propelling him forward in his pursuit of justice and healing. In her honor, he vowed to continue the fight, to be a beacon of hope for those who had yet to find their own unexpected endings. As the years passed, Johnathan's advocacy work continued to make a significant impact. The foundation he had established grew in size and influence, expanding its reach to communities far and wide. Survivors found solace in the support and resources provided, and countless lives were transformed through the power of healing and empowerment. Johnathan's unwavering dedication did not go unnoticed. He became a beacon of hope, not only for survivors but also for individuals from all walks of life who sought inspiration and guidance. His story resonated with people on a profound level, reminding them of the strength that lay within, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. Amidst his tireless activism, Johnathan had formed deep connections with fellow advocates, survivors, and individuals who shared his vision of a world free from violence. One such person was Sarah, a courageous survivor who had experienced her own harrowing journey of abuse and had found solace and strength in Johnathan's foundation. As they worked together closely, a bond grew between Johnathan and Sarah, a bond forged through shared experiences, empathy, and a mutual commitment to their cause. Over time, their connection deepened into a love that was both tender and fierce. They became partners, united not only in their personal journey but also in their fight against injustice. Together, Johnathan and Sarah became an unstoppable force, traveling the world to speak at conferences, collaborate with organizations, and advocate for policy changes. Their love and shared purpose fueled their efforts, as they faced challenges head-on, determined to create a world where no one would have to endure the pain they had once experienced. Their impact was far-reaching, inspiring others to join the movement and sparking conversations that had long been shrouded in silence. Governments took notice, implementing stricter laws and allocating resources to combat domestic violence. Societal attitudes began to shift, eroding the stigma associated with abuse and fostering an environment of support and empathy. In the midst of their activism, Johnathan and Sarah discovered a newfound sense of family, a chosen family that extended beyond blood ties. They surrounded themselves with like-minded individuals who shared their passion and dedication, creating a supportive network that embraced them unconditionally. As the years went by, Johnathan's heart swelled with a profound gratitude for the unexpected ending that had set him on this path. He knew that his grandmother and siblings' tragic story had not been in vain. Their memory lived on through the lives they had unknowingly touched, the countless survivors who found hope, healing, and justice because of their legacy. One day, as Johnathan stood on a stage, addressing a crowd of thousands, he looked down at the sea of faces, survivors, activists, supporters, and he felt a surge of emotion. The applause and standing ovation that followed were not only for him, but for the collective spirit of resilience and determination that he represented. As the curtain fell on that momentous day, Johnathan glanced at Sarah, their eyes meeting in a silent exchange of love and gratitude. They knew that their work was far from over, that the fight against domestic violence was an ongoing battle. But they also knew that they were not alone, that they had each other and a community of warriors by their side. In that moment, Johnathan understood that unexpected endings held within them the seeds of extraordinary beginnings. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Through tragedy and loss, he had found purpose and love, transforming his own life while touching the lives of countless others. With renewed resolve, he took Sarah's hand, and together they stepped into a future filled with hope, compassion, and a relentless pursuit of justice. As Johnathan and Sarah continued their fight against domestic violence, their impact continued to grow. Their foundation became a global movement, reaching even the most marginalized communities, and their voices echoed in legislative halls and international forums. Their tireless efforts led to landmark changes in legislation, ensuring better protection for survivors, harsher penalties for abusers, and increased resources for support and rehabilitation. The stigma surrounding domestic violence began to crumble, replaced by a collective understanding that it was not a private matter, but a societal issue that demanded attention and action. Through their foundation, Johnathan and Sarah initiated programs that provided comprehensive support to survivors, including counseling, legal aid, and economic empowerment. They'd also spearheaded campaigns to educate young people about healthy relationships, aiming to break the cycle of abuse at its roots. Their love story, intertwined with their activism, inspired millions around the world. People looked to Johnathan and Sarah as beacons of hope and resilience, proof that healing and transformation were possible. They became the face of a movement that refused to let darkness prevail. As the years went by, Johnathan and Sarah's impact extended beyond domestic violence. They recognized that their advocacy work intersected with other forms of injustice, such as gender inequality, systemic racism, and economic disparities. They expanded their efforts to address these interconnected issues, understanding that true change required a holistic approach. Their foundation became a platform for change, collaborating with organizations fighting for social justice across various fields. Their collective efforts aimed to create a more equitable and inclusive society, where every individual had the opportunity to thrive free from violence and oppression. Throughout their journey, Johnathan and Sarah remained guided by the memories of Johnathan's grandmother and sibling. They knew that their unexpected ending had propelled them onto this path of purpose, and they carried their spirits with them every step of the way. It was a reminder of the resilience and strength they possessed, a testament to the enduring power of love and the indomitable human spirit. As they stood together, their hearts filled with a profound sense of gratitude and fulfillment. They had not only found each other but had transformed their pain into a force for good, touching lives and shaping a brighter future. Their story had become an inspiration, a testament to the capacity of individuals to create lasting change. In the twilight of their lives, Johnathan and Sarah looked back on their journey with contentment. Their foundation had flourished, leaving an indelible mark on the world. But it was the countless stories of survival and triumph, the countless lives touched and transformed, that filled their hearts with the greatest joy. Their unexpected ending had given birth to a movement that would continue long after they were gone. It was a testament to the resilience and unwavering spirit of individuals who refused to be defined by their circumstances. Johnathan and Sarah's legacy lived on, a testament to the enduring power of love, compassion, and the unyielding belief in the possibility of a better world. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel